Hi, I'm Jess, and today I have a TV show review for you of episode 1 of the Shadowhunters. It is the pilot of the Shadowhunters TV show. My Twitter feed last night when it released went absolutely crazy. I'm not sure about other people's, but my Twitter feed, everybody was talking about it all night. And I didn't watch it last night when it released. I watched it this morning, because I'm in the UK, so I had to watch it this morning. But I do have a few thoughts about it that I wanted to do a video about. So my first opinion is based on all the hate I've seen on Twitter about it, and that's just, this is a pilot. This was probably, I'm not sure, but it was probably, as most pilots are, made before the series even got commissioned for a whole series, and was made with not a lot of direction from the network, and not a lot of knowledge on where they wanted to go with it. So I'm not judging the whole series based on this pilot, because it's a pilot and it's setting up everything, and that's a pilot's job. It's a pilot's job to set up everything that's going to happen, and I think I liked it a lot, and it has its problems, yes, and I'm not going to say it doesn't, but I still really enjoyed it, and that's what matters with a TV show for me, whether I enjoy it or not. So let's get on to my actual points about this. The best thing that this TV show, the first episode, did was get a group dynamic going between Jace, Izzy and Alec. It was so funny and quippy, and yes, it was ridiculously cheesy. I agree that the dialogue was a bit cheesy sometimes, but I like cheesy things, so I enjoyed it, and that may not be for you, but I really enjoyed it, and that's my opinion. I loved Izzy. Izzy's costumes were brilliant. Izzy was brilliant. I think the best actors in this were probably Emerald, who plays Izzy, Matt Dodaro, who plays Alec, and Alberto, who plays Simon. They were the three best characters in this pilot, and they were just great. Even though they're in the background most of the time and not the focus of the episode, they were my favourites. They really shone through. Their acting was brilliant, and I think they really captured their characters. I do agree that Clary and Jace have some work to do, but I think they're also trying to figure out the chemistry between them, and trying to do that rather than just themselves, so it's a bit hit and miss sometimes. But I did think Kat's scene where she went into the shop and was crying about her mum was absolutely great. She was such a good actress in that scene, and it was so great. And by the way, before I go into any more detail, this might have slight spoilers in it. I'm not going to spoil too much, but if you've read the books, there's no spoilers, but if you've not read the books and you've not watched the TV show, there'll probably be spoilers in this video. One of the funniest scenes was the one where Clary met Jace when he bumped into her, and she was like, watch where you're going, and then it cut to like Simon's point of view when she was just talking to herself, and she was like, what was with that guy? And Simon was like, what, the imaginary guy you were talking to? And it was just really funny, because I think Simon is the funniest character. All his lines, I think, when there was no lines of Simon's that were like wasted. All his lines were great. Like when he was like, like his first couple of lines, he was like, give me the names of the professors and I'll end them with a very strongly worded email to the dean. And it was just very Simon of him. I think that as I said, Alberto has got Simon down. It was so good. And when he was singing Forever Young, I was just like, oh, Simon, it's so ironic. You don't even realise how. It's so ironic. The pilot was very fast paced, but again, that is a issue with pilots that are trying to give too much and get people to watch. The same was an issue with the Supergirl pilot as well. I think it was the same issue, and that show is doing really well, and I love that show now, but the pilot was similar to that. It was very like quick and gave too much away too quickly, and yeah, that's a problem with this. And I did like it though. I think it was important to give everything to the audience, and then have the action happen, because the action's the bit we want to see. We want everything to happen. We don't want to be sat with Clary freaking out about it for ages, even though that would be more realistic. I do think, even though Dominic is one of the actors that I think needs a bit of work. He was so much better than movie Jace. He captured Jace way better than movie Jace did. He was just so great. I did really enjoy him. I think his chemistry with Kat needs to get a bit better, and I think it will in subsequent episodes. But him on his own, he did the quips exactly right. It was all very great with his chemistry with Isabel and Alec. It felt like they'd known each other for years. It felt like they were siblings, and that was what mattered. I think that we got the relationship between those three well. I know a lot of people have had problems with the fact that Luke is a cop now, but I really enjoyed it. It meant that Luke was getting insider information on things that were happening so that we knew about things before Clary was knowing about things, and he was sort of an insider in like the circle and stuff, and he had that, and that was good. And if he was a bookstore manager owner, then we wouldn't get that, and we didn't get that in the books, and I really enjoyed that. Anyway, I think the actor fits the cop persona, and I think the character fits the cop persona. I'm starting to think, why wasn't he a cop? Because he was great as a cop. The scene with Magnus in Pandemonium was so cool, and when he was with the circle members and he was threatening them, that was so Magnus. But I wish there was more Magnus in this episode, but then I realised he's not in the story yet. He's just sort of there so that you can see that he's a character, and he's not there because he's part of the story, because he's not part of the story yet, apart from in Clary's past. But I think Harry Shum Jr. is amazing as Magnus. The way he was moving his hands when he was doing magic and stuff was so great. The guy who plays Valentine is so much better than movie Valentine. No dreadlocks, creepy as fuck, and I loved it. The scene with Hodge was really good as well, where they had that circle rune on his neck that whenever he would talk about things that happened in the circle, it would burn him, and I really liked that idea, and it's not something that was in the book, I don't think, but it was a really great idea, because it meant that Clary felt bad for Hodge, and it's not just that he's stuck in the Institute that's his punishment, he also can't talk about it, and it gave them a bit more of a, we can't talk to Hodge about everything because he can't give us all the answers because it would hurt him too much, but he was still willing to give the answers, and it gave more to his character, I think. I loved it when Simon at the end was outside the Institute, and he was like, Find My Friends app is saying you're at this really creepy abandoned church, and she was like, oh, I see you, let me just get dressed, and he was like, why are you undressed in an abandoned church? You got a meth problem we need to talk about? And then her and Jace come down, and she's in this leather outfit of Isabel's, and Simon's just like, is he your meth dealer? And when he deglamorizes, and it's just great. It was so great. And when she's reacting to Jace fighting this man off, and Jace is fighting behind her, but Simon can't see it, so she's just like reacting to it as a normal person would, like with shock. And Simon's just like, what the hell is going on? Like, you're acting really crazy. And he's like the voice of reason all the time. It's really great. There was another thing that I was a bit of an issue with some people, and that was that the fact that the Institute had technology and lots of people in it, and it seemed like a Shadowhunter school environment rather than just a place where they really live and it's sort of like a hotel for them, but it seemed like it was a Shadowhunter academy. I liked that. I think it works for a TV show that there's more people there. If it was an old abandoned place and it was just a hotel for Shadowhunters, I don't know if it would be as exciting as it looks. And the technology is great. I like how they've incorporated that into it and not made it look like a big church. It looks like a big church that they've modernized, and I really like that. So I really like the pilot, and I'm very excited for the rest of the series, and I'll be doing episode reviews of all the episodes if I have enough to say. Comment down below what you thought of the pilot, whether you liked it or didn't like it, because I know people are either on the love it side or the hate it side. It's a very love it hate it thing at the minute, and I really want to know what you think. So let me know down below, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.